Hello everyone, today we start Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. New game. Let's start. Choose save slot. Empty. Bam. Choose your clan. Bruja? Durable rebel against power and rage against authority. A seemingly insignificant man with significant ideas will join the ranks tonight. So anarchy. Venture. The aristocratic blue bloods embody wealth, sovereignty, and control. A top-level corporate executive will join the ranks tonight. And Toreador. The divas seek thrills of art, romance, and cruelty amidst stagnant and death. A tormented artist will join the ranks. Tormented artist speaks to me. So I think I will go with the tormented artist. I don't know if these are the characters or just they are supposed to depict the vibe of the clan. Because from the characters, this one looks the best in my opinion, but the description of this one sounds pretty awesome. Name Lamar. Lamar sounds good. Hey Symbiacz, hello. How are you tonight? At this late hour? Accept. Okay. New York fought me to believe in fate. Continue with this button and unread dictionary. Okay, back. And this one. The beginning or introduction to the world of darkness begins now. New York taught me to believe in fate. Okay, so this probably shows all of the dialogues. Continue. Had you asked... Whoa, 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 whoa! Okay. We need to go to settings. That was way too fast. Text size, let's go medium. Or small, even. Standard and slow, maybe? Okay, nice. I was supposed to sleep, but then got a feeling I need to fix my accounting, so here I am in the dark living room tapping on numbers. You're doing accounting after midnight? Had you asked me about fate back when I was a human, I've done my accounting, like whole day of accounting, so I'm done with it. I'm not doing anything this week, accounting-wise. It's superstitious bullshit that we are all designers of our own destinies. That belief shattered when the richest woman in the United States, the actual richest one, not a face you could have seen in the papers, of course, sank her teeth deep into my neck. It happened in the very same place you're standing in right now, by the way. Fate, you decide. Please, there's absolutely no need to be hostile, just listen a little longer. See, my mistake was that I flew too close to the sun. It makes sense that my punishment was to never see its glow again. I was incandescent myself, I was hot shit, I had it all. Money, looks, confidence, connections, men, women, a career, and spark in my eye, the one you need to be born with. And that's when someone far more powerful than me saw my radiance and thought, that won't do. She robbed me of the light erupting from within and gave me a subtle, enduring gleam in its place. She decided that would fit me much better. She was a 9th generation kindred just like you, an apex predator. She probably enjoyed teaching me the peak of human excellence, my real place in the food chain. Ooh. It's such an eyesore when you look at some loudmouth braggarts and see them for all they are. The temptation to teach them a lesson can be unbearably right. Well, my sire's lesson was a lesson about fate, a message saying you're eternally doomed to be at the mercy of your sovereigns. It almost drove me to destroy myself. What saved me was the ability to reinterpret her teachings. Hers wasn't a message of doom, it was a message of hope. Fate exists and one can shape it if given the right tools. This already starts like a good book. My sire didn't believe my tools were fitting for the job. She considered them toys and me, just her amusing subject. Well, she's deader than dead now and I'm still here, standing right where she stood when we first met. You might have wondered how I've learned about your arrival to JFK Airport. My answer is of course destiny, as luck would have it today happened to be a day some of my associates were inspecting the coffins. What? Driving you here straight from the plane and having you wake up in such unfamiliar place was a little desperate, and I do apologize for it. But it is so rare for you to visit New York 3 times in the last 15 years, was it? And you've never eager to inform me you're here. So we know each other. I understand you still have that meeting on 53rd Street later tonight, so I'll provide a comfortable transport. I value our relationship very much, don't get me wrong. But it is precisely because I value it that I'm going to ask you to repay the favor you owe me. You're the only one I'd trust to do the job well and without attracting attention. You might think I'm crazy asking you to breach the rules of our society like this. You might think it's impossible to get away with it unpunished. But this is New York, and I don't know about other cities, but in this one, fate really exists. And right now it's smiling in your favor. This is how it begins. Ooh, this is creepy. You stifle a yawn. It's been a slow evening. The little bit of red liquid left in your glass and the crumbs on the plate remind you that, if nothing else, these art exhibitions at least come with some decent wine and legit catering. I have never been to an art exhibition, like actual art exhibition. And yeah, it's fun to talk about your work on display, even if you end up discussing it with pretty much the same people at each such occasion. You've already met that one critic who keeps telling you, with self-assured authority, how you should pursue a different artistic avenue. Then there's the obligatory do-eyed art student who's oh so impressed with your technique. To be fair, you're not all that happy with your latest piece, but hey, it's not the worst thing you have seen tonight. That ignoble, dubious honor belongs to one of the other paintings on display, and yet its author, currently being paraded around by his rich parents, has barely been able to grab a bite of the fancy canapes so many sycophants to meet so little time. For a moment you think that maybe it's not worth it, maybe you should take the critic's advice, cut your losses, sell out to some corporation and get it over with. I don't know if you can become like a corporate agent or something like that when you are an artist. Like, what kind of resume you have? And as if the universe wanted to validate the train of thought, that's the exact moment your sister Emma decides to pop up in your view. Hey Emma, so let's me get this straight. Cushy corporate jobs are selling out, but supporting a billionaire's vanity project is totally fine with you? Hi Em, you absolutely despise her as an artist, while you're struggling to uphold some nebulous ideas of what art is meant to be. She's perfecting her ways of mooching off the system. Shamelessly preying on little-known street art and niche internet memes, she repackages them as burgy-friendly collages. So it's perhaps no wonder that New York something has recently dubbed her a mind-blowing explorer of digital art's extreme possibilities. New York Times! There we go, I got it. But in spite of all that, you absolutely love her as a person, even as you welcome her by smacking the back of her head, a gesture meant to convey nothing but deep affection. No, but seriously, supporting young artists my ass. I don't know what kind of money you got for this piece, but I doubt it was even a fraction of what it's going to be worth in tax benefits. The gallery owner actually said that if he had to choose his most valuable audience, it would be the IRS, and I'm pretty sure he was only half kidding. You mumble a non-answer and then sage into a different subject, trying to preemptively quell her repeated offers to get you a steady job. Of course, she proves as insistent as ever. You know, sometimes I just don't get you. On the one hand, you wouldn't be caught dead taking money from the inevitable winner of the culture wars. On the other, if someone gave you the chance to collaborate on some dumbass Oscar bait flick sponsored by Larry Ellison's bailout fund, you'd do that shit for free. She rolls her eyes and asks, you know what the only difference is between the art scene and the culture industry? The culture industry actually pays your bills. As expected of someone who's given up on attempts to infuse her work with any sort of enduring quality and decided to just keep responding to the zeitgeist. She claims to happily accept the fact that after she dies, both she and her work will end up in a landfill. When you respond that you prefer chasing a 1 in a million chance to immortalize yourself, she claims it reeks of an overinflated ego. But you've been down this road too many times before and managed to accept she'll never understand what's truly important, hey Chelion, to you. What the hell is this game, and when are you going for some next? So this is a visual novel. I don't know if you know Vampire the Masquerade. It's a very, very popular RPG system about vampires in like New York and modern times. It's called World of Darkness, I think that universe. And a Polish studio made a visual novel in that world. And that's the game. It reads like a book, and there are apparently like around 10 endings, like 6, 8, something like that. So it's more about reading a story than actually playing anything. But you've been down this road too many times. Okay, I read that one. Slowly. So right now we are human. We are human artists. So we will become vampire later on, probably. How was your stream, Chelion? How did it go with the internet troubles and stuff? How far did you get in Sekiro? Slowly but surely you move on to more agreeable topics. Your plans to finally get hammered together, or the most recent crop of garbage Netflix shows your friends have tricked you into trying out. Alright, gotta go. I've got a date. Maybe I will move my camera to the left. I've got a date. She peeks at the bunch because I'm covering parts of her face, so maybe I will move my camera to other side, like bump, and maybe I will even do the thing when I flip myself, like that. Ha! Magic. Internet enabled me hard to get past a blazing ball. You get past Blazing Ball? That's so difficult. Like, it took me so many tries to actually defeat him. She picks a bunch of middle-aged men in expensive suits who have stopped pretending to care about the exhibition and are exchanging the worst lecherous jokes they've got in their stale repertoire. Have fun with your friends, class traitor. Oh, she gives you a hug and heads for a nearby elevator. There goes the pleasant part of the evening. Still you decide to delay the inevitable and catch a quick smoke break. Truth to be told, people aren't exactly lining up to chat about your work anyway. As you leave your post, you start tapping your pockets in search of a lighter. Instead, you find a $100 bill you're absolutely sure wasn't there before. Ooh, someone gave us some money. Jesus Christ, Em, you're the worst and the best. You can feel your cheeks turn red, but you gratefully put the money in your wallet and move outside. When you reach the balcony, oh, that's a nice balcony, by the way, you look out at the New York City and light the second-class cigarette left in the pack. You're alone. It's not silent. The metropolitan hum. Cheese rider. The rider was actually pretty easy, but it's a good deal more intimate than what's behind your back. You lean over the railing and look down. The streetlights beckon more than usual. In your mind's eye, you see yourself as your final artwork beautifully splattered all over the pavement. Oh, we have some bad thoughts right now. Working tile, the illusions of grandeur. The outer, a brilliant artistic soul crushed by unfeeling reality, gone too soon. You chuckle and flick the cigarette into the air. Freshened up by the night's cool breeze, you squeeze back into the stuffy interior. You barely make it a few steps before lethargy sets back in. It's like you never left. Still, something in the room feels different. Your eyes are drawn to a handsome young man, neatly dressed and groomed, exuding the air of a true artist. Whatever I want to play. When did he start the stream? Like 10 minutes ago. Hey. Was more fun than Hot Taco Ball, but 15 minutes ago. Yeah, something like that. We just started. And the best part, he's intently looking at your painting. The gallery is almost like an art installation itself. Now people standing in silent awe. The guy like a beacon drawing everybody's attention. Hushed conversation about the guest can be heard from every corner of the gallery. Your heart is pounding with excitement, and you approach, feeling like a kid trying to get close to a deer in the woods, but afraid you'll scare it away. The man turns to you, and you stop in your tracks entranced. So this is one of your pieces? He has a pipe. Lul, dub. Snake was annoying because I couldn't figure out there was a cave above where you stab him in the eye. Oh, Snake, yeah, Snake was silly and pretty scary. That intense part of the Sekiro. Where's Batsbot? Batsbot should be there somewhere. You managed to bumble an affirmation. Tell me about it, please. As you start discussing your inspiration, technique and process, the man's eye lock onto the painting again. He keeps interjecting. You know what they should do? They should actually show me the painting, like his painting, so I know what we are talking about. Like, I like the background, but the painting should be in the part of the background. Looks like a vampire. Offer your neck to him. Chalion. You would? Are you interested? This guy gets it. He really gets it. The world around you disappears. You'll say anything, do anything to keep his attention on you, but you realize you don't need to. He's into your art, he's into you. He's into us, guys. I want to buy it and I want your company. I need to talk to you. You will like what I have to say. Oh ho ho. Spoken matter-of-factly, served straight up, like he knows that you won't refuse, that you can't refuse. Couldn't turn down some good neck belling. Oh my god, Chalion. An hour later, you find yourself at his apartment, one of many, you presume, with your self-esteem all but patched up and your head full of fine vintage. You tell your host a lot. In fact, it seems like you're telling him everything. Flimbly with the massive host. Hello. Hi, Flimbly. You missed like 15 minutes of it. Straight to the nibbling. Chalion is so excited. He thinks there will be a sex scene. You tell your host a lot. In fact, it seems like you're telling him everything. Massive. Thank you. I appreciate it, friend. How was your Star Wars stream? Guys, Flimbly was streaming that Star Wars RPG that everyone knows. Where you came from, how you ended up in New York City, how you had to take out a loan to appear at tonight's event, how you took the long look down the balcony. Kotor. With each channel you have to expect anything. True. True. I still remember how you enjoyed that erotic visual novel. Never beat Kotor. I streamed Kotor once or twice because I was doing a charity stream and it was fun. Smudgery, hello, thank you for following. But I didn't continue because it was very difficult to stream it, because alt tabbing was a problem, because the game was really badly, like, I don't know, I couldn't figure out the widescreen. It won't be the last? Of course not. I need to find a good one. That you thought about taking the plunge, and this time you were only half joking. You feel miserable, you start crying, he holds you in his arms, you feel calmer, the tears stop flowing. Good one. It's been so long since you last had someone you could not just talk to but communicate with, be seen by, who knows, maybe there is hope for you yet. That feeling of bliss is the last thing you remember before passing out. Next thing you know, you're lying on the couch in that same apartment, hungry and dehydrated. How long has it been? Hours? Days? More? You're feeling weak, confused, abandoned. Guys, I think we've become a vampire right now. You look around in panic. Is he still here? Thank God, yes, there he is standing in the doorway. His voice breaks the silence and fills you with hope until you realize what he's saying. I am so sorry. I hope that maybe one night you will forgive me. Always remember that in our parting moment I wished you well. You try to speak, ask him to stay, but no voice leaves your parched throat. You taste something on your lips. Wiping your mouth leaves a crimson stain on your hand. It's not the wine. What the fuck? The door of the apartment closes behind him, alone again. Then the pain hits. It's a headache, a lurching in your stomach, a burning in your arms and legs. It's all you can focus on. A panic takes you. You fall from the sofa and hit a wine glass. It flies off into a wall, shattering into bits. A mumble from the corner of the room indicates that you're not as alone as you thought. From where you're lying, you only see a feminine shape steering awake. You crawl towards the woman. Inch by inch, the pain turns into an urge. You need to get close to her. You begin to see details: the long hair shrouding her face, the worn-out New York City hoodie thrown over her skimpy dress. She opens her eyes, moves her locks to the side, exposes her neck. A rabbit instinct takes you. In the blink of an eye, you find yourself buried in her hair, smelling her sweat, mixed with just a hint of cheap perfume. You bite down and drink the blood from her vein. Wait. What is happening? What is happening? You break away. You look at the girl. She lets out a sigh, goes limp and unconscious again. You try. Oh my god. You try to crawl back, her dress rolled up to the side, and you glance at her naked thigh. You lose control again. Bite her leg. Drink deep from the artery. It's intoxicating. It's bliss like you've never known before. It's beautiful. You break away again, fall to your back. What the hell was that? Did you really drink her blood? She's not moving. Oh god, she's not moving. You check her pulse. She's cold to the touch. Nothing, no heartbeat, no sign of breathing. That's when it hits you. Your chest isn't moving either. Your heart is not beating. You are cold to the touch. You reach for your phone. It's not there. Where did you leave it? Or maybe he took it. Impossible to say. They are drunk blood hunters. It is nice, I played it before, just wanna play again after all the Star Wars comic books I read recently. Which comic book was the best, simply? Impossible to say. You stumble around the apartment but find nothing you can use to call for help. You need to get out of here now. You look outside the window, you're high above the streets, there's no balcony and the building's exterior is glass almost all the way down. You'd never survive the jump. But maybe that's precisely why you should leave the room this way. You've just killed somebody. Your life is essentially over. A sickening void is opening in your stomach, warning you that your reality is about to turn into an unbearable hell. A voice in the back of your head tells you that the smartest course of action is to take the leap before it does, and the more you argue with it, the more reasonable it sounds. You're just about ready to pick up one of the chairs and try to break the window when you hear the clicking of keys in the lock. You freeze in place. This is bad. To Cotter, like the story takes place 8 years before the game, I really enjoyed it. Can you give me the name? Your thoughts start racing desperately, but instead of a rational course of action, only visions of false hope come to your mind. What if it's him? What if he's had a change of heart? What if he sent someone for me? You almost feel your heart beat again with excitement as the doors open, almost but not quite. A man enters, but not the one you expected. He's tall, broad-shouldered, handsome, with darkish skin. His suit is stylish and immaculate. You've never seen him in your life, but you immediately see past his sharp looks to see his sharper nature. He is a predator, and if you're not careful, you might become his prey. Good evening, I'm here to pick you up. Go for the neck. A deep, emotionless voice. He turns his eyes to the lifeless body of the girl in the New York City hoodie and raises an eyebrow. Who are you? I killed her. This isn't what it looks like. When will we play the game? This is the game. This is like choose your own adventure. This is like reading a book. Enjoy my wonderful Polish accent, butchering all the English words that I don't know. Let's answer I killed her. I think I killed her. Yes, that does seem to be the case. He approaches the bed to examine the corpse from up close. Well, this is unfortunate, but preferable to going insane from hunger. Quite a nice gesture actually, if troublesome. He briefly looks at you with something like pity in his eyes, then changes his expression to a perfectly blank one. Listen, you may perceive your current situation as something out of ordinary, but I've met hundreds of lost sheep like you, and you see, they tended to fall into two categories. First, there were the smart ones, those who carefully obeyed my every word and didn't pull off any stupid stunts. They always got where they needed to go safe and sound. Then, there were the dumb ones. Polish accent ASMR, heck yeah. The punks who thought they could take me on, the wise guys who tried to contact somebody secretly and without permission, the troublemakers who tried to run off or make a scene. None of them got to their destination in one piece. In fact, a lot of them never reached their destination at all. I'm actually recording this. I'm curious how the record will go, and I will try to put it on YouTube for people to listen if they want to. Like an audiobook or something, we will see. The man talks in a bored, professional tone, giving off an impression that he really has delivered this speech countless times by now. So you see, despite being a smart person, I'm a Mets fan, I love baseball, and it inspired me to come up with a free strike system to determine if someone is dumb. Oh my god, it's a test, guys. We have to pass. If you get on my nerves one or two times, well, I understand. Not all of us perform well in stressful circumstances. But if you do it 3 times, understand that there will be no excuse, no forgiveness, no mercy. Oh no. His presence changes ever so slightly. Say, I understand, sir, now. You feel an overwhelming, barely irresistible urge to fulfill his demand. Fuck you, sir, I understand, sir, what are you talking about? I understand, sir. Excellent. Alright, have you got anyone you'd like to inform about your current situation and tell them you're alright? He flashes his fangs briefly as he talks, and for some reason the sight causes a chill to run down your spine. Something's wrong with him. Someone closest to you? My sister. Oh, what if he kills my sister or something like that? Emma, my sister, she's probably having a night out in Brooklyn with her artist friend. Can I call her now? You take out your phone while asking the question. It was in your pocket all along. It must have been panic-attacking before. He shakes his head and points at the hooded corpse next to him. If you want to implicate her, go ahead. I think we'd all be better off if you let me make sure that she only knows what she needs to know. Yahoozy, Toreador, I'm playing the Bruja story. Yes, I think I chose Toreador, yes, the artist one, the last one. If I like it, I will probably play the other ones as well. But this one so far is pretty cool. How are you, Yahoozy? Agreed. Give me her phone number, I'll have someone get in touch with her. Oh, what if you killed our sister right now? You oblige and hand him the smartphone so he can copy the number from your list of contacts. Thank you, this will be useful in illustrating my next point. Instead of giving you back your phone, the man hides it in his pocket. From this night onwards, you are subject to different laws than the ones you grew up with, and you'll be watched by many eyes to ensure these laws are respected. You are forbidden from letting anybody you know you're still alive. You're forbidden from showing your face anywhere they know you. If anyone comes to search for you, it's over, both for you and them. Uh-oh. He interrupts his monotone recitation to stare deep into your eyes. So if you don't want someone to find your poor sister's body in the Hudson River next week, cooperate. Okay, yes sir. The sight of his fangs again, and another physical fight or flight response. You've played right into his hands, putting Em in danger. I can only hope that you care for her enough not to do anything selfish. Yes, she sounded like a cool person, we don't want her to die. By now you are absolutely sure he's just staying with you, provoking you just to feed on your reactions. He hasn't told you where you're going yet, but he's already made it abundantly clear that a lot of people struggled hard to avoid getting there. You'd be far more eager to cooperate if he never raised the subject, but he made it a point to make you fear the unknown. He's pushing you. But to what end? Does he want to intimidate you into complete submission? Is he hoping you'd give him an excuse to get rid of you? Or maybe he's testing you, forcing you to show what you're made of. Somehow he makes all of these options seem plausible at once. Alright, I think that's enough lectures for today. He takes a glance at his silver watch. It's a Patek Philippe, the kind of brand mere mortals never see outside of luxury lifestyle magazines. Just who are you dealing with here? It's past 3 AM now. The sun will come up in just a few hours, so we don't have much time. Come, we need to leave so that the corpse can be taken care of. He turns his back on you to unlock the door. Head out, attack him from the back, I'll wait for the police. All of these options are stupid, so we are going with head out. Like, obviously the guy will kill us if we attack him. And waiting for police, like he doesn't want us to wait for police, so head out. Okay. Okay. You obediently follow him out of the room before he locks it again. You manage to take a final glimpse of the corpse. You feel a pang of conscience, but not because your victim's horrible fate, it's because you don't feel guilty even though you know you should. Something important inside of you that was still there yesterday has definitely died tonight. You wonder if you'd even recognize yourself in the mirror. The stranger shows you to the elevator. You go to the ground floor. During an awkward ride, your dazed and confused mind desperately searches for a glimmer of hope and eventually comes across one. Maybe you'll find the man you met earlier this night. What happened to the man? What did that man do to me? Who was that man? Do you know who was that man who brought me here? That's what I'd like to know. As of yet, he is unidentified. They have left no trace and it was obvious they are not planning to come back for you. So how did they know that the new vampire appeared? Who are you? Who are these people? If, and that is a big if, you ever see them again, it will be tomorrow and probably for the last time. I want to see him. This compulsion is natural, but for now I can only say this: it lies in his best interest to never see you again. The elevator door opens to an empty hall. You walk outside past the night guard's post, which is empty. I love the art style of this game. Like, every single screen is like a painting and it looks so cool. I really like it. The cold night air reminds you of the balcony just a few hours ago. The man motions to the black Cadillac Escalade. Take a seat in the back, please. You get inside, the man closes the car door behind you. You hear a click as it locks. The Cadillac is almost entirely dark. The side windows seem light-proof. The man gets into the driver's seat, starts the engine, and drives away without a comment. Am I drugged? I feel horrible. As you should. He gives you a little side glance in the rear view mirror and bites his lip. Forgive me, I'm not in a talkative mood. This won't be a long drive. Patience. That silence fills the car. You close your eyelids and sink back into your thoughts. A blurry after-image of the man who bought you your painting is still there. It's strange. You never felt this way about anybody. It makes you happy, even though you have the nagging thought that there is something fundamentally abusive about this attraction. But then the girl's hair spilled over the purple hoodie and her blood spilled over the cold floor come into sharp focus. You wince. You want to cry, but it's as if there were no more tears left in you. After what feels like an eternity, the car comes to a stop. You get out in an underground parking lot. It's an ugly concrete grey thing, empty, but for the car you came in, looks like there's room behind a metal door in the wall. Guess you'll live to see another night. Follow me. He opens the metal door and lets you inside. Here we are. These are your lodgings for tonight. If you get hungry again, take a look into the fridge. Tomorrow I will come pick you up. The cramped room has no windows, just a single bed, a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling, a small humming fridge and a rattling AC fan in the wall. It has all the coziness of a solitary prison cell. You notice claw marks on the inner side of the entrance door. I'm not going in there. I'm not going in there. Actually, yes, you are. Listen, normally I'd lose my nerve right about now and things would get nasty, but I get it. You're scared. You don't understand what happened. Trust me, you will learn more tomorrow, but now I need you to rest and you need you to rest. He gestures inside the room. Ooh, that's not a good looking room. Like, nope, I would also opt out from this option. Finding no more willpower to resist, you step inside. The stranger nods contently. Good night. He locks the door behind you. It looks very secure and sturdy. You open the fridge. There's a single plastic bag there filled with a red liquid, unlabeled. Tomato soup? I ironically love how in every vampire story, or like in a zombie story, or like a zombie movie, they never realize that they're vampires or zombies. They're like, what are those weird monsters? Well, zombies. Like, why do I feel like drinking blood? Oh, what's this red thing? Tomato soup? Like, you feel sick to your stomach, best leave it for now. You lie down on the bed. It's a simple mattress on a metal frame, kind of grimy and damp. Think it makes you grimace, but you're just too tired not to lie down. Your entire body hurts, a dull feeling that makes you feel heavy. You feel vulnerable and lonely. Usually when that happened, you'd turn your attention to painting just to not think about the alternative. Your family upbringing left you with no skills but artistic talent. Creating art used to be something of an unpleasant duty. Somewhere along the line, though, it became the only weapon you had to fight with existential despair. Some of your best work was created in lieu of impotently crying in bed. This is my kind of guy. Hell, you're pretty sure a few of those pieces had your tears mixed in with the paint, like the painting that led your whole night to this. You look back at your life and it starts looking like a downward spiral. This actually kinda scares me each time it changes into the screen. You are so tired, your entire body tenses up, and before you know it, you drift away into oblivion. You wake up. That in itself is a surprise. You barely remember when you drifted off. It didn't feel quite like sleep, more like plummeting into an endless void. You imagine that's how death feels like. The room is unchanged, the lamp is still on, the AC is still rattling, the refrigerator still humming. You take a look at your watch, it's almost 9 PM. You've slept for 17 hours straight. I'm curious if you choose other characters. Do they have different beginnings, but also this guy appears and he takes them to the same room? Maybe you died, your breath is gone and you feel no thumping in your chest. Does that qualify as that if you're still conscious? You're not sure about that, but you are certain about one thing, you are hungry. It's not your stomach rumbling though. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat and back of the head. You open the fridge, the bag is still there, you take a closer look at it. If it is soup, then its color and texture are off. You pull the cork out, take a whiff, you recognize the smell immediately. Holy shit. There's no mistaking it, it's bagged blood. What? What a surprise! The smell is faint and you remember some situations in the past where you found it nauseating, but now it's almost, no, not almost, it's enticing. Drink the blood. Oh my god. There are fangs and there is a moon option. Well, of course we are drinking. It feels wrong, but right now there's barely anything in your life that doesn't. To hell with it, you pour a bit of liquid into your mouth. It tastes bland, reminds you of a cheap supermarket juice, just enough flavor to register as what it claims to be on the box, but nothing like the real thing. Nothing like what you had the last time you swallow it. Somehow you don't feel sick. In a weird messed up way, you can't help but think it feels nourishing. You take a few more sips and then just another one, suck on the back a little more. Eventually you find that you've emptied it entirely. All. You look at the info pressed into the side of the bag, 450 milliliters of it. Even with its blandness, you still feel like having more. You realize your body longs for that intoxication high you felt when an image of that corpse crosses your mind, causing you to wince. What have you become? You try to piece your thoughts together, make sense of it, when you hear the lock click and see the door open. Standing there is the well-dressed stranger you met yesterday. Immaculate suit again, that predatory look, like a hawk on hand, but somehow more relaxed tonight, so it's so like a tamed hawk maybe. Good evening, slept well? He notices this discarded empty bag. I see you had a bit of a snack. Yeah, got any more? I did. Got any more? No, and don't expect sustenance to be this easy to find the next time. Come on, we've got places to be. The car is humming in the empty parking lot just outside the door of the cramped room you have spent the day in. The man motions to it politely but with a stern look on his face. Get inside the car. Hijack the car? These options sound fun. Okay, I lead the way. After you. You take the back seat again, the doors lock, the stranger takes the wheel and starts the car. Sorry guys. You drive in silence for a while. From time to time you keep trying to catch glimpses of familiar streets or landmarks through the blackened windows, but it's of little use. The car is also soundproofed, so all you can hear is a bit of traffic humming and the car's engine. The driver doesn't say anything and seems focused on the road. You check the door handle. Yeah, the door is locked, alright. The piece of dark glass separating you and the front of the car looks sturdy too. There is nothing left to do but wait. You didn't have time to think about it before, but you realize now that you're hungry? No, not exactly. It's not rumbling stomach that grabs your attention. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat and back of the head. They're repeating stuff, like I've read the sentence like 5 minutes ago. You'd try to extract some information of the man behind the wheel, but you realize you'd prefer to bask in the afterglow of your last meal. You wouldn't have expected it, but you spend the rest of the trip lost in your thoughts, a lot of them concern blood. It takes you another 20 or so minutes to get to your destination. As the door opens, you try to get your bearings. You're still in New York, that much is certain. Queens maybe. Wait, you know exactly where you are. The nice-looking two-story building has a logo you immediately recognize. The art hall, the avant-garde gallery, used to hold that collection of bagged viscera and body parts by... You can't quite remember the guy's name, he's Brazilian, I think Fabio something or other? After me. No sudden movements, please. You've never been inside, not quite your style, but the place has quite a cult following. You keep racking your brain for more facts, hoping they'll help you with whatever you got into. 2 large men in suits flank the door to the gallery on both sides, and they give you your companion a nod as you approach. Prompted by the stranger who guides you, you walk inside. The gallery is full, which is unusual at this hour, to say the least. About 24 faces fill the showroom, and a number of waiters navigate the gathering serving drinks. All of them are beneath the guests' attention. The visitors are well dressed for the most part, but it's unclear what they have gathered here for. Nobody seems to be particularly interested in the art pieces on the walls, and the atmosphere is polite, unnaturally so. Many guests turn to look at you and the stranger who brought you here. Their glances are varied. You see open contempt on a few faces and animated interest on others. Most of the eyes... I left but still no game, because it's like a book. Most of the eyes in the room calmly observe you as if wishing to appraise your worth. Memories come back to you like a bad case of PTSD. How many times before had someone judged you impassively or decisively through your art? You'd share a piece of yourself with the world and it responded by making you feel like garbage. It always took a lot of effort to not lose your cool and tell all of them to shove their opinions up their collective asses. What do you think so far, Flimbley? Now looking around, it feels like we've become another artwork as commodity to be judged by a bunch of obscenely wealthy out-of-touch assholes. It makes you want to scream. So far I like the writing and I like the art style, but the beginning is classic. Like, classic becoming a vampire story. Internet trolling me. What happened, Chelian? How can we help you? Who is trolling you? The woman... If I wanted Polish man reading a book, I'd read Harry Potter in your voice. Aww. Well, there is no Harry Potter visual novel. Just remind me of all the other visual novels I haven't finished. This one is apparently quite short, around 8 hours, 6, 7, 8. So I think we'll finish this one. Sue Virgin Media for giving out lackluster internet access. Isn't Virgin Media the same company that owns the planes and like Virgin Airlines and stuff? Isn't this guy like going bankrupt? So plan for this week is actually to stream up every night after midnight for 2 hours and read this. Like, I will put you guys to sleep with my wonderful voice. I have no idea the correlation. Good evening, Quadir, and you, child. The noble cold voice takes you out of your head and back to the situation at hand. The gallery, a crowd of strangers, you being brought here against your will. For what purpose? The room awaits your response. Good evening, Miss. Kadir, huh? So that's your name, Kadir? You are being addressed by the Prince of New York City. Helen Parnard, child of Michaela, turns your eyes to her when she's speaking. Thank you, my sheriff, but I am capable of introducing myself. She's somewhat plain-looking and doesn't seem to possess a great deal of charm, but still the entire room is intently focused on her voice. She has influence over these people, that much is clear. Child. I don't know how to read it. It says it's around 6 hours. That's pretty short, right? For a visual novel. But there are three different characters. So maybe it's like 6 times 3 or something. She's somewhat plain looking and possesses a great deal of charm, but yep, okay. Well. Prince Panard, you may address me as a prince, child. I realize your introduction into life was abrupt, and I understand your sire left shortly after. The rules of our society dictate I punish you both for this transgression. A murmur of agreement maybe can be heard from the gathered audience. But I am willing to listen to what our loyal sheriff has to say about the circumstances of your embrace first. Remain silent. You decide it's best to stay silent and listen to the whole situation unfold. It feels like you're out of your depth here. Shall we begin? You are about to be judged by the Court of New York City. Kadir, please tell us how you found this fledgling and what happened on your way here. Court, Prince? Is this some kind of secret society make-believe? A trusted informant who has chosen to remain anonymous at this time tipped me off about a suspicious kindred appearing in one of our domains. Upon investigating, I found them gone, but this fledgling remained in their place. Interestingly, his sire made use of an older heaven of one of the clan of the Rose for the embrace. They were even thoughtful enough to leave a local woman for the fledgling to slake his thirst on. Despite some reservations, he offered little resistance last night and cooperated on our way to the safe house. I was pleased to not have to force his compliance. We had a quick chat, but wishing to appear here post-haste, I asked him to join me, which he did without struggle. A pleasant departure from my usual routine, must say. His thirst partially slaked with the bagged blood we kept in the safe house. We had a pleasant enough drive here. The story ends with us arriving at Elysium tonight. Elysium. All eyes are on you again. You take a special interest in one of the faces. The one I played, Shibuya Scramble, I played it for 14 hours and it was only the beginning. I have seen Shibuya Scramble on sale for like $5 on PlayStation Store right now, and I was thinking about buying it. Like right now on PlayStation Store there is a huge sale for Japanese stuff, and there is also Steins Gate Zero, for example, and there is this other, oh my god, Night Child or something like that, but I haven't finished the first Steins Gate game, so I can't buy the second one. That Shibuya Scramble, it's really good. I need to try to play them on my own without streaming, just, you know, couch, me, TV, big TV, and, you know, just read through it with my pace. Like, I can actually read pretty quick when I'm not talking. All eyes are on again. You take a special interest in one of the faces. It's a beautiful woman with curly, almost blood-red hair and a dress to match. You see her whispering to some bespectacled man with an absent-minded look on his face. Who is she, you wonder? Thank you, Kadir. I take note of this fledgling's behavior and will take it into considerations later. She turns her attention to you. First, there is the matter of your sire. The person who brought you were Kadir picked you up from last night. Who were they? A beautiful man. He was beautiful, charismatic, charming, dark hair, sort of artistic mess. He had an accent I couldn't recognize. He took notice of my art, but a piece in fact. I want to meet him again. The last sentence came out almost involuntarily. You immediately feel ashamed, sounding like a sad puppy whimpering after their master. Yes, you do want to meet that man again. It's an urge deeper than you've ever felt, maybe even love? Much faster, yeah. Maybe I will finish Steins Gate on my own somehow, like that. No, that's idiotic. He never even introduced himself to you. He used you. That asshole just plain used you. For what? Well, Kadir, does that sound familiar? No, it does not, or at least not familiar enough. I will continue the search after we're done here. He bought my painting, you can track him. I didn't pay in cash, I think. Maybe we can track him that way? Oh, did your outlook on him change all of a sudden? He smirks, seemingly enjoying your misery. Personal jobs aside, thank you for that observation. I will investigate this later. What shall I do with the fledgling, my prince? What is your recommendation, my sheriff? The traditions are clear. Thou shalt honor sire another with the permission of thine elder. If thou createst another without thine elder's leave, both thou and thy progeny shall be slain. I am ready to fulfill my duty. Stay your hand for just a moment longer, Kadir. I wish to consult my council on this. Make sure everyone is in agreement. Of course. He seems strangely relieved. The prince leaves the main showroom and a handful of people follow her out. You're about to ask this Kadir what all that talk of traditions and councils was when the red-haired woman approaches the two of you. Sophie. Oh, hello, Sophie. Sheriff, I was wondering if I could have a word with the fledgling. What for? She lowers her voice in response. Come now, Kadir, we all know what the verdict is going to be. Let me speak to them. You might not have to stay in your hands tonight after all. Oh, hi, Sophie. Oh, hi. Her words grab his attention. His face is hard to read, but it's like several emotions are struggling for domination. Anger, sadness, hope, gratitude, resolve. How's your accounting, Simbach? I'll go get my sword. I'll go get my sword. Guys, we are going to die. He steps out the room and the way you came, and you are left in the showroom with the woman in the red dress. She takes you aside and the eyes of the remaining guests follow you. Well then, fledgling, you are quite the pickle. Getting the chop, we are getting the chop. Wait, did I hear that right? What did he say about the sword? Your hearing isn't faulty. We only have a short while before the prince hears the High Council out and Kadir returns here with his blade. So listen, please. Last night you became a vampire. Wait, what? They are always so dumb. Like IQ like 80 or 70 even. Like what? Vampires? I have never heard about vampires. Switch. Okay, there is. You don't like switches? Oh yes, I am well aware of how ridiculous that sounds. It's the reason why we have these nicer words for it. Kindred being embraced, having a sire. The fact remains, the beings called vampires, you're looking at them. They are us. But I was just nibbling on that woman's neck and leg. Like, come on, I can be vampire. Like what? Come on, it was just a little bag of blood. How can you call me a vampire? You glance around. Some of the guests are still occasionally looking at you, commenting on you in hushed tones. Many of the patrons are pale, really pale. Most hold glasses of wine. It's not wine. No, not wine. That's not the right thickness and not the right color either. You're trying to come up with something sensible to say, but you're drawing a blank. It makes a morbid kind of sense. You drank blood last night, there's no denying it. And your breathing has not returned, your heart remains still. A vampire. The mirror is broken and it's just coincidence I only come out at night. Two voices in your head start battling for supremacy. One of them slowly begins to put everything that happened since yesterday together, coming to a conclusion that no matter how insane it might seem, nothing but what she's saying makes sense. The other voice just keeps saying, "What the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck," on repeat. You're surprised. This is often how it plays out by design. Kadir deliberately keeping you in the dark and all. If we do nothing, you will be cut down as sure as day follows night. But I'm here to offer you a chance, a way out, under one condition. I will take you under my wing. If you're lucky, the prince will be in a good mood tonight, and your deference to Kadir will work in your favor. She might agree to this, but only if you swear fealty to me. What the flip? I am not making this offer lightly. As your patron, I will take responsibility for you. Your actions will reflect on me. If they reflect negatively, I will make sure you face the consequences. I don't want to die. What's her deal? Like, why does she want to help us? But poor thing, you are already dead. Still, it's not as bad as it might feel. I can be your guide through this new reality. You need to take a chance or perish. Steps and harsh voices can be heard from the side room. It seems the prince and her council are returning to the showroom. Kadir appears from downstairs as well and starts walking towards you. When you hear the verdict, ask to be spared. I will intervene. Remember my condition. She flashes a heart-melting smile towards Kadir, who does not smile back. She won't nibble our necks if we misbehave. The sheriff's immaculate suit is now complemented by a carved, oriental-looking metal scabd fastened with a colorful sash around his waist. It would look vaguely ridiculous if it wasn't surprisingly intimidating. First and foremost, Kadir takes his place next to you and observes as the prince takes center stage again. Loyal kindred of the New York City Camarilla gathered here tonight. I have made my decision regarding the fledgling. She briefly addresses you. I want you to know that this was not an easy decision to make. For your part, you have not done anything to earn our ire. Do feel a genuine sorrow for what must be done. What a surprise that they want to kill us. We are all keenly aware that this night we need to close our ranks and trust the wisdom of our elders and the traditions more than ever before. There is no place for tolerating dissent when our very existence is under constant threat, although I acknowledge some of my council's divergent opinions on this. She takes a look specifically at one of the people who left the room before, a rather plainly dressed, shy-looking man whose skin has a somewhat healthier tone. He bows his head in deference. I hold the final authority over this fledgling's fate, and I declare that while their embrace might be the sire's responsibility, in their absence it is their progeny that must be punished. The sentence is final death, to be resolved presently. Kadir? You hear a scraping sound and see that the sheriff has unsheathed his curved sword. It is beautifully detailed blade which you expect must be worth a small fortune. Its apparent sharpness makes you freeze up. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. His quiet mumble is audible to nobody but you. As his eyes meet yours, you note just a hint of sadness in his countenance, one that quickly vanishes to give way to grim determination. And he's out too bad. You will not get another chance to speak up. Escape the gallery. Like, how do you escape the gallery? Ask for mercy. You make your choice. I don't want to die. Spare me, please. Prince, if I may ask you to stay the sheriff's hand for a while longer. Kadir looks at the prince, awaiting her response. The sword is still hanging above you, threatening to fall at the moment's notice. The problem I'm having right now is that everything is predictable unless I choose very stupid sounding option. Is there something you'd like to say, Miss Langley? Sophie Langley, I like the name. Yes, if I may. At first the prince looks somewhat annoyed at the distraction, but she stays quiet for a while, measuring the mood in the room. The bored elites suddenly look at you with aroused interest, some of them dismayed at not seeing the bloodshed, but all intrigued by the unexpected twist. The prince nods. Well, let's hear it. Sophie takes a few steps forward, all eyes are on her now, but Kadir's heavy hand on your shoulder makes it clear you won't take advantage of this distraction. My prince, While the traditions are clear, I believe that the proper context should be observed in addition to the letter of our laws. This fledgling is a burden, but with proper guidance they could become an asset to our domain. Am I to understand you are volunteering to take this sireless child under your protection? Yes, I happen to think they might hold a potential that would be unfortunate to waste. I do expect their full cooperation, of course. Whispers can be heard again, an incredulous voice or two, a harsh just "We hit the fucker," some suppressed exclamations of surprise. Silence. I ask all of you to make a note of this moment. I might be persuaded to bend one tradition in this child's favor, but another will have to be enforced even more firmly in its stead. Until thy progeny shall be released, thou shalt command them in all things. Their sins are thine to endure. Are you certain that's a responsibility you wish to shoulder, Miss Langley? I am willing to guide this fledgling and add a valuable ally to our sect in a time of need, yes, but I would like to receive the right of destruction over them, if it pleases you. Give me a chance to prove myself, Prince. I am worth keeping alive, Prince. Give me a chance to prove myself. That remains to be seen. I do take notice of your tenacity. See that it doesn't become a burden. I shall grant what you ask. Let it be known, Sophie Langley of the Clan of the Rose will become this fledgling's patron. They shall be considered like sire and child. Miss Langley will take full responsibility for them, and I grant her the right of destruction if she sees fit to use it. Let my intentions be clear, however. If I am to turn a blind eye to one of our most important traditions on this occasion, I expect it to be beneficial to the Camarilla, substantially so. I hope you find this verdict satisfactory, Miss Langley. Of course, Prince. Thank you. Very well. She turns to you. What is your name, child? Lamar, Prince. She nods. Welcome to the Camarilla, Lamar. Now, this evening proved to be even more eventful than I anticipated, but with the fledgling's fate decided, I believe our meeting here can conclude. Thank you all for appearing on such short notice. Give my regards to those who couldn't make it. Kadir, a moment of your time before I let you return to your duties. Of course, Prince. He shoots you a side glance that doesn't leave much space for interpretation. You will be watched. You will be judged, and if need be, you will be punished. The two of them leave the gallery. Well, Lamar, I think we've both already managed to significantly improve each other's evenings. But let's keep the ball rolling, shall we? I think we should have a toast to a new fruitful partnership. Heck yeah. Toast, always. She raises her hand at one of the well-dressed concierge, who have not reappeared in the showroom to refill the guest glasses. The conventionally handsome man approaches with a carafe of red liquid. He pours it into two tall glasses. It's blood again, that much is clear. You're in two minds about drinking it, but the memory of the last night's hunger makes you wince. You take a tentative sip. You expected the same blandness you tasted a few hours ago, but this one you can actually savor. It's smoky and warm, making you think of a cozy cabin in the woods. It does strike you as a strange image for your mind to jump to when drinking human blood, but it's what it is. You've never tasted anything like it. Do you like it? I think New York City caterers have a very bourgeois idea about what good blood should taste like. Apologies, you must have so many questions. While we're on the topic, perhaps we should start with those related to sustenance. How much do I have to drink? Does the taste of blood matter? You seem to be a blood gourmet. Does the taste matter at all, or is it just about sustenance? Yes, I have grown somewhat choosy over the years, but it's mostly a result of growing accustomed to convenience. Of course, sustenance is most important, but finding a new exciting taste is one of the finest experiences of our kind can pursue. That said, I also drank the blood of gangrene-ridden soldiers in field hospitals after the Battle of Gettysburg when I had no other choice. Not my fondest memory, but also the only reason I am here. What you need to know right now is that no matter what manner of blood you give me that tasty BL, you drink, you will always be tempted to have more. You can learn to control it, mind. Best start by taking a single sip from a vessel. Be prudent. Hot, fresh blood will be more satiating than most anything that can be served in fancy glass, but it can make you more voracious. As to how much you should have, it depends. If you're frugal, you can survive many nights without a single drink. BL, some Brolov. But it's risky and will tempt the beast that is part of our curse. Tomorrow I shall take you hunting and we will explore this topic further. The blood you're having tonight should be enough to keep you at ease for now. About our Silechart relationship, what do you mean by hunting? You mentioned a beast. That beast you mentioned, is that a metaphor or... Oh, it's quite real, although not in a strictly physical sense. It lives in all of us. Our nature and hunger manifest. Those more religious among us connect it to the biblical Cain, the rage of the first murderer, cursed by God, sitting in all his descendants. I, however, am a child of enlightenment, not that it makes my struggle any easier. I have to be wary like every other kindred in the city and beyond. Individual kindred. Each have unique relationship to their beast. What yours is going to be remains to be seen. But you do need to keep it under control. Each outburst endangers not just you, but also the masquerade. The concierge returns, asks for permission to intrude, which Sophie gives with a polite smile, and leans in to whisper in her ear. You know that the gallery is now almost empty. I am being told that the gallery is just about to close, but we still have quite a lot to discuss, so we'll go to one of my apartments. My jalopy is waiting downstairs. Come. The smile she puts on makes you remember last night's encounter in the showroom. A similar eagerness to spend time with the person overtakes you momentarily, and you follow her outside. Your sixth sense tell you she's an artistic soul too, and you unwittingly start projecting good qualities onto her. Sophie leads you to a luxurious silver Rolls Royce and invites you to sit in the back. The chauffeur, a broad-shouldered, clean-shaved, middle-aged guy, starts driving immediately. Where did we leave off? I believe I started telling you a bit more about our customs. You've heard the prince refer to our traditions. The chief among them is the masquerade. As you might have gathered from us assembling at a niche gallery after closing time, our comings, goings and doings tend to be somewhat secretive. We do not advertise our existence. We allow myths and modern fiction to morph and muddle the facts so that the vast majority of kind we remained bedtime stories and pop culture icons. What if this is true? What if they actually exist? Say, is that one of the television shows about Vampire Angel still popular? Vampire Angel? Angel? You shake your head in confusion. She shrugs and continues talking, looking a little bit more dejected than before. Our clandestine ways help us remain safe, allows us to explain away the occasional trip up to the rational minds of our 21st century community and dictate much of our interactions with mortals. Is your driver a vampire too? Is there anything the movies get right? Movies. I love movies, so let's ask about movies. There has to be some stuff that books or movies got right, or is it all just vampire propaganda? There is a kernel of truth in every myth. Those concerning kindred are no exceptions. There are mortals who sift through and manage to separate the fact, though it doesn't happen thanks to Hollywood. For one, sunlight burns us. That's why we rest during the day. You felt it. More like being dead than being dormant, isn't it? But we have no choice. We are night dwellers, but day sleepers. Some more folk-related threats are just legends, or occasionally a minor nuisance. Garlic, running water, even religious symbols don't repel us, unless the wielder is uniquely pure and godly. Stakes through the heart, though, that's something to avoid. They do not destroy, but they do paralyze, which under the right circumstances can often be the same thing. That's a reason to have somebody like my trusted driver Gregory, making sure you're safe when you drift away. We have many enemies, and they often know their advantages lie with daylight. So it's vampires versus humans, so it's good to keep human friends. Do watch each other backs. Am I right in thinking that having a human friend or two is necessary then, or at least useful? In moderation, and best if they don't know your true nature. Also, I would say that subordinates are useful, but friends? I haven't had one of those for many years now. Our little sect supplies social interactions aplenty, but it doesn't really encourage friendships, alliances of convenience to be broken at whim. Yes, that's more like it. Long-term solidarity does occur in Camarilla, but we are a very politicized organization by necessity. Loyalty is to your sire, to your prince, and to the sect. Friends must remain a distant priority at best for us to maintain the masquerade and thrive as the years pass. With age comes authority, with it comes influence and power if you wish to reach for them. She seems to be lost in thought and falls silent for a while, leaving you to ponder all the things you've learned tonight. It still feels absolutely unreal, but as piece after piece of knowledge falls into place, the image becomes almost like an entirely logical jigsaw puzzle. Whatever you wouldn't believe on your own, you've witnessed. Many questions swarm your thoughts, but the one you keep returning to is what your place in this new reality should be. The car stops. You are in the city, in front of an old but well-renovated apartment building. We're here. Would you like to see your lodgings? What if I want to sleep in my home? I have an apartment I could go back to, sleep there, all my stuff's there anyway. Does it have soundproof blinds or a solid secure door? No, I think you'll find that this apartment much safer. Come upstairs. She leads you through a small hall with a night guard who greets Miss Langley with a good evening, and you take the stairs up to the second floor. Sophie opens the door to room 209. Isn't 209 like a reference to Vampire the Masquerade, the PC game? The one that everyone plays? Wasn't that the number of the room that you get at the beginning of the game? Inside are all the amenities you could expect from a modern apartment, and some you wouldn't have deemed necessary just the previous night, including thick blinds on the windows. The back room has a comfortable looking bed and a thick steel door with several sturdy looking locks, but no windows. Well, how do you like it? Not bad, could use some redecorating. Switch a picture or two, maybe paint the walls a different color. I'm sure you would, but I would appreciate it if you could hold back the need to redecorate, or at least consult me before you do. The time for solo acts will come later. Right now, what we need is collaborations. Tomorrow I will take you hunting and discuss the blood in more detail. I'll let you get comfortable. The keys are by the television set. I will come pick you up tomorrow night. I use the back room for the rest. You can lock the doors just in case. It stings a bit when she leaves. It's like the room suddenly became a few shades dimmer. You inspect the kitchen, hoping to find something to drink. Nothing, no regular food either. Feels strange that the Kadir could be more a thoughtful host than your new sire, even if only in that respect. We briefly wonder if the sheriff might have a hidden side. With nothing left to do, you lie on the couch with the TV playing in the background for company. Columbo returns, Kojak reruns. President of the United States got himself into serious trouble again. President of the United States got himself out of the trouble again. Pundits start yelling over each other about things that seemed a little bit less insignificant just 2 days ago. You start drifting off, reflecting about another night of confusing conversations and worldview-shattering revelations. How many more before you finally understand what happened to you and what you're supposed to do now? You keep coming back to the life you left behind, the people you should contact, the things you want to pick up from your apartment. You wonder when you'll have the chance for either. As you start to feel the same tiredness that made you drift into a cold sleep last night, you settle into the back room. The bed is comforting, the lack of windows less so. You leave the light bulb on. Looking at it, you realize it's the closest you'll ever come to staring at the sun on a breezy summer day again. A wave of melancholy overwhelms you. A few minutes later, your consciousness fades and you take plunge into darkness again, sinking, 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 sinking. Tutorial. Hunger is at heart of vampire's existence. To ignore it is to tempt the beast to take over in its desire to feed. To overindulge in feeding may threaten the masquerade while staining what humanity you have left. In Coteries of New York, having high hunger is indicated by a progressively thicker bloody frame around the screen, like the one you see now. What? There's a mechanic like that in a visual novel? As your hunger grows, so does this indicator. Your hunger may increase when you call upon your vampiric powers or when you need to mend your wounds after a fight. There will be fighting? That was a long introduction. When your hunger reaches the maximum level, you will receive a warning after you complete a piece of the story. Too many necks or barely any necks. Ignore it at your own peril. Some choices might only become visible if your hunger is high enough. Similarly, high hunger may block off some choices, as you will be able to see after pressing continue. Oh, blocked off option because I'm too hungry and I can't think straight. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'm surprised. To decrease your hunger, you will need to feed. Whenever you see a feeding opportunity, you can take the risk to hunt and slake your hunger. Feeding opportunity. You will need to keep the hunger at bay if you are to uphold the masquerade and survive the nights that await you. That's actually pretty cool. Okay. I didn't expect it. I thought the whole thing will be just reading and choosing options. I didn't think that the managing hunger will be a mechanic. You open your eyes. The bed isn't warm. The room is filled with artificial light from the ceiling. The solid metal door is closed. Normally, you'd stretch for a bit. On some mornings, you'd probably throw the quilt over yourself and snooze a moment longer. But that was before. The way you woke up now, you are fully conscious, no grogginess, nothing weighing you down, just the nagging need in the back of your head. Hunger. Not as severe as the last time, but unmistakably there. You get up and open the door to the main room. A digital clock on the TV shows you the time, 9:04 p.m. You walk over the blinds to retract them cautiously. The only light coming in is New York City's artificial nighttime luminescence. So that's what your waking hours are going to look like now. You miss the sunlight already. You're seriously considering just walking out of the apartment and figuring this all out by yourself, but then you come back to the memory of Kadir's exotic sword being raised in the gallery. Maybe sticking around isn't that bad of an idea after all. You keep jumping channels for around half an hour and then switch to streaming services, almost as if the universe had a sense of irony. You catch True Blood in the flood of recommendations. I actually watched True Blood and I liked it a lot. I've seen all of the seasons. The doorbell rings. It's Sophie. Good evening, Lamar. Slept well? Like a baby. What a delightful choice of words, so appropriate. A newborn kindred lost and confused in the night. You made the right choice yesterday. I can teach you many things about yourself, your blood, its desires and its power. We will begin tonight. You are hungry, yes, I'm sure you are. Our kind always is. There is only one remedy, the blood. The drinks we had yesterday at Elysium are not the usual way you slake your thirst. So tonight I will assist you in your first foray into hunting. You need to learn to sense the kind of blood you desire, to understand how you can use the kind's vulnerabilities to your advantage. No more freebies. An official meeting in Elysium does not happen every night. Besides, I think you'll find there's a unique thrill to hunting for fresh, hot blood that is absent when drinking it from a glass. Oh, intriguing. You will find that drinking moderate amounts of it regularly will keep the hunger and the whispers of the beast away. You might think yourself monstrous, but there is balance to be found here. The kiss gives the kind pleasure. You might remember this from your own memories. Some can even become addicted to the sensation, but if you do it right, they tend to misremember your feeling. After... now kiss. For you, Dennis. After all, vampires do not exist. They are myths, fairy tales, and pop culture mainstays, correct? She gives you a sly, knowing smile. That is why the masquerade is so important and even more crucial when you feed. How do you select a victim? How do I choose who to feed from? Are there better or worse targets? Isolated kind are easily easiest prey, of course, but much depends on the context. Hunting requires a different approach in a busy club than it does on an empty street. With time, you will have the luxury of finding your preference in hunting methods and prey. For now, I suggest experimenting in moderation. I'm alright, you alright? I'm pretty alright. Feeding from the same area repeatedly can be dangerous, but by branching out you risk the ire of the other kindred of whose domains you trespass. Lucky for you, New York City is more forgiving in this regard. New York is in somewhat of a unique position. Many of its neighborhoods remain contested or unclaimed. The reason for this is a lesson for another time, but keep the following in mind. Take opportunities to feed when they present themselves these upcoming nights. As long as you hand cautiously and respect the masquerade of all times, you should be fine. To wit, I want you to join me for a trip tonight. Come downstairs, Gregory is waiting for us. The busy street fills the air with traffic noise, pedestrians, chatter, and mix of smells that disorient you momentarily. These warm bodies contain what you want, what you need. You catch yourself. Did you really just think of these people as mere sources of blood? It takes a nudge from Sophie to break your train of thought. Her driver opens the door for her and then tips his hat to you, gesturing to the back of the car. The car casually joins the somewhat thinned New York traffic. It's still busy in a way only one of the biggest cities in the world can be, but compared to the daytime commute, it's a pleasant drive. You barely have time to gather your thoughts and formulate new questions before the car comes to a stop. You're among the tall skyscrapers that make up Manhattan's iconic skyline. You feel a pang of emotion as you realize this is where you took part in the expedition just 2 nights prior. Same address and you suspect same hall. To what ends has it been repurposed tonight? Come, Lamarck, park the car, Gregory, will you? The driver just nods and Sophie gets out. You join her and the two of you walk through the glass doors together, then take the elevator up. You first notice an empty stage with the instruments of a string quartet still in the back, then take in the few dozen chairs in front of it. The concert seeming concluded, the patrons, all smartly dressed and posh, have spread out all over the hall. Sophie strides confidently inside, produces invitations from her purse, then she flashes in front of the security guard. You follow close and are let through without issue. Let's start easy. A social setting like this one would usually prove quite challenging to an inexperienced kindred, but considering this evening a small gift from your patron, I'm hoping to procure for you a willing vessel. Just remember what I told you about taking small sips. This one I have a soft spot for. Don't damage her. Interesting. Now let's see here. Ah, there he is. She notices somebody in the crowd, flashes... Sip. Sip. Flashes a heart-melting smile and suddenly even you feel drawn to her. You haven't thought about it before, but it's laid clear before you in this moment. Sophie is beautiful. Just looking at her is a privilege. Just being with her makes you feel elated. Everybody in the crowd, but especially the man who's almost tripping over himself to reach her, no sips here, only chugs and gulps. Clearly agrees. Edgar, I'm so happy to see you. How is your daughter? Is she with you? Oh, there she is, Julie, my girl. Come over, please. There's somebody I'd like to meet. The young woman who walks across the hall can't be more than 19 years old. It's clear from her mismatched earrings and the partially faded purple hair dye that she doesn't fit this crowd. Julie, this is Lamar. I think the two of you should get acquainted while I talk business with your dad. Awfully boring stuff, I assure you. I'm positive you like each other. The girl gives you a shy smile and nods towards the balcony stairs. You follow, somewhat unsure what is exactly Sophie expects you to do. Fresh blood? Would you? Would you? You reach a secluded space from which the entire lobby is visible. All eyes are on Sophie. They listen intently, then laughs when she does. Julie saves you the trouble of figuring out the next step. Oh, that's how Julie looks like. Julie looks totally like... oh my god, sorry guys. Back. Like Ramona Flowers from... what was the name of it? Scott Pilgrim. Like, she looks exactly like her. And that tattoo. I guess that you know. She puts her wrist to her lips and gives herself a theatrical nip, then looks to you embarrassed but also hopeful? She does. She looks like Ramona Flowers. You're into that sort of thing? She blushes, looks down at the floor, nods. Could you? I mean, if you'd like. Miss Langley tells me she swallows hard, avoids your eyes. That eye tastes nice. You take her forearm in your hands, a quick look around confirms nobody's watching and no security cameras cover this area. You bite down gently. It's surreal, she's just given you her blood of her own volition. How is this possible? Sophie promised us a hunt. How this is a hunt? How is this possible? What about the masquerade? You need to ask Sophie. Your thoughts disappear amid the bliss. There's just the taste, sweet, fresh, sanguine. You drink, and drink, and drink. No, stop, stop. You tear away from the girl harder than you wanted. Still, the bite leaves your tiny punctures. Fast food takeaway, exactly. Almost as if by instinct you lick the clean and the two holes become concealed just like that. Julie is now leaning on the wall, pale, wobbly on her feet, but happy? She lets out a dreamy sigh, open her eyes, a few tears fall into her shirt, tears of joy. Thank you, please, can you walk me downstairs, please? My dad, he doesn't know, thinks it's a condition. Miss Langley told him so. She leans on you and requests you walk her over to a bench. She takes a seat and smiles at you. The crowd around Sophie disperses slowly, looking at her now. Only some residual awe hangs in the air. Yeah, she's pretty, maybe even beautiful, sure, but not your type. What came over you before? You walk over to her. Edgar, dear, it was splendid talking to you, but we need to get going. Give Julie my best wishes. Come with Lamar. Gregory is waiting for you out front. It's only in the car that Sophie addresses you. I can tell from your look that you took the opportunity. Good for you. That girl's exquisite, doesn't you think? You wouldn't tell by her demeanor, but she has so much passion, it brings out a unique bouquet in her blood. That unique bouquet. I feel like I took advantage of her. This feels all wrong. I feel like I violated her, like I took advantage of her. Oh, please, spare me your dramatics. I'm sure she was happy sharing herself. She's such a sheltered girl. Let her have fun from time to time. Time for the next stop. Training wheels off. This time, Gregory, Flushing Meadows, please. The driver takes the car over the Williamsburg Bridge. You settle your thoughts. What did you do to the people back there? What's about the training wheels? Those people back at the hall, they were all entranced, even I was under a spell. What was that? She smiles with satisfaction. That old trick? Just the blood doing my bidding. We all have our talents. Some of them come from the legacy we inherit from our sire, others can be learned with the experience. I can sway people or make them fear me. I see more of the world and in greater detail than some kindred. I can will my body to move with unparalleled precision and grace, and more. All of these skills make me who I am, they also help me hunt. How do I use my powers? How exactly do I use these talents? You will the blood to do your bidding. Many times you'll find you do these things intuitively, almost passively, but making an entire room focus their attention on you, that is tempting the beast. Always keep the masquerade in mind, however, it is all fine if you can appear in plain sight on command animals with your mind, but save those overt talents for the night, right place and time. Ooh, that looks pretty cool. It only takes you half an hour to reach the park at this time of night. Both you and Sophie leave the car, with Gregory left behind again, to find a parking spot and keep an eye on the car. Sophie seems deep in thought. She takes in the surroundings with a dreamy gaze. The sky is surprisingly clear tonight, the stars just barely visible in the light-polluted area of the city. I feel like having a snack myself. I'll be by the fountain. Go look for somebody to your liking, see what effects you can achieve with your blood, but only pick one victim, just one, then come back. Seeing how she seems not altogether here right now, you decide to leave Sophie to her own devices and seek out your prey. From here it looks like you have a few choices. Just taking a stroll around the park and finding an isolated jogger or someone like them could work, but focusing on one area might work better. The New York State Pavilion might work as a secluded spot. There's skate park nearby, and worst case scenario there's bound to be some unfortunate wino around. Or maybe the tennis courts nearby, there's light coming from there, so somebody might still be playing a late night match. They won't be alone, but they might be tired and let their guard down. As these scenarios play out in your mind, you realize you're planning how to assault strangers in the middle of the night. It's a weird way to be, but the now familiar hunger prompts your act. Oh, who do we choose? Take a walk, but don't. We are feeding, guys. Hunt near the decrepit pavilion. Look for. I'm going for the tennis court. You decide the tennis courts are as good as place as any and make your way to the all the next. Yes. As you guessed, a pair of players, 2 men, fit but older, maybe pushing 60, are finishing up a match. They are the only ones there. It is time to make a move. Presence, lure a player away. Barge into showers. Let's use the presence. You think back to what Sophie did in the hall, how she managed to focus that attention of the entire gathering on her. That might be a tall order for you, but a single person could be doable. Showers. You wait patiently until the 2 men hit the showers, get out and say their goodbyes. They go their separate ways and one of them notices you standing there. You immediately grab his attention. Oh no! We're going to drink from this old guy. Oh man, tennis player. Good evening. I mean, would you dare this? Is he your type? Drink blood than monk. You can make it better. Oh, and how's that? You decided there won't be a better moment to strike. Moving closer casually at first, then closing the distance in a single leap, you sink your fangs into his flesh. His blood flows fast and feels energizing. You'd never expect an invigorating taste like this from a guy who's at least your father's age. What a surprise. You only take as much as you need right now, though a voice at the back of your mind urges you to keep drinking. Fit or not, you don't want this guy on your conscience if you take too much. You put him on the ground gently and make your way back to Sophie. As you're leaving the cars, a figure emerges from the shadows and stops you in your tracks. A hooded man is looking menacingly at you. What do you think you're doing, barging in on my turf like this, leak? I love beer. Leak? Didn't mean to trespass, I'm gone. Too late for that, friendo. You want to live here in one piece? You talk. Candidly, I know what you are, so you can shove that masquerade misdirection up your ass. Now better tell me who you're with before my pose shows up and we beat it out of you. I'm here with Sophie Langley. Doesn't ring a bell, sounds fancy though. Exposing his fangs and looking at you voraciously, a nervous tick or an attempt at intimidation. I wonder, what would Callahan do to you if I brought you in, huh? Break your shins? Leave you out to be kissed by the sun? Oh, concrete shoes, maybe he's old school like that. Celerity, run back to Sophie, fast. Look, it's my favorite Polish man. Hey, my favorite Mikey, how are you doing? You take off, fast, faster than you've ever run. The hoodlum has trouble keeping up, but hauls behind you like an animal and gives chase on away. As you reach the Unisphere again, you slow down, noticing 2 people near the sculpture, a man and a woman tangled in a passionate embrace. No, not exactly, it's Sophie feeding, but this whole scene is set up so that it looks like a couple getting intimate in public. She pulls it off like she's done it 100 times before. Don't break his shines. And Tishki's here too? That is... how dare you? It occurs to you that she probably has. The man is unsure on his feet as she lets go of him and leads him towards a nearby bench. Noticing you, she whispers something in his ears and leaves him. Her driver appears from behind a tree. Well, Lamar, how did it go? You're about to answer when the same figure as before emerges from one of the alleys. He looks at the 3 of you, and a predatory smile creeps into his lips. You thought you could run away from me, Lick? Think you'll be safe with your friends? Well, I have friends too. He makes the motions to shout, but 2 things happen almost at the same time. First, That feeling of warmth and beauty emanating from Sophie flares up again, entrancing both of you and the hooded thug. His shout comes out as a weak, confused squeak. Second, Gregory produces a wooden stake from a holster under his jacket and slams it into the thug's chest. Just like that, in a few seconds the posturing vampire is down on the ground, paralyzed. I see. You've made a friend, Lamart. A curious choice of company, I would say. Who is he? He mentioned a Callihan. She looks shocked for a split second and recovers her regular countenance. Yes, I have this... Hoodlum is anarch then. Curious, Corona Park has not been claimed by any kindred last I checked. Let's go to the car. We'll put him in the trunk and present him to Kadir tomorrow night. I'm sure he'll be delighted to make this unbound's acquaintance. Gregory carries the staked vampire and dumps him into the car's trunk like a mannequin. It's a strange sight, and you're quite happy you're not in that poor fucker's shoes right now. It's almost surprising that you can get away with just casually throwing a stiff into your car and driving away, but then you remember that Sophie has been doing this far longer than you have. Still, the nagging thought that anything you did tonight could have been recorded on a CCTV camera or picked up by a rando with a half-decent smartphone and streamed online fills you with dread. Hunting and using your abilities is dangerous business. It's clear that this whole being a vampire thing has about as many caveats as it has perks. You're taken out of your headspace by Sophie's voice. I will pick you up tomorrow night, same as tonight. I have some business to attend to at Elysium, and I expect you to accompany me. Plus, our friend in the back needs to be properly introduced to Kadir and the prince. I'm sure he'll have some interesting things to say to the card. Her voice is cold, cruel, and nothing like the enchanting personality she showed at the gallery earlier tonight. Sophie is clearly a woman of many faces. I do the same thing in his place. God riddance, this guy's an asshole. Oh yeah, I can imagine he's going to enjoy meeting Kadir. I hope he gives him a good grilling, the guy's an asshole. Oh, Kadir will enjoy it too, I'm sure. She pauses, seemingly lost in thought for a while. You haven't told me how your hunting went, getting the hang of it, I would hope? I think so, yeah. Will show him his curved sword. I'm glad. She doesn't question you further. She seems distracted, not all there. Her thoughts drift and the car remains silent until you reach your apartment. We'll pick you up tomorrow evening. Good night. Just like that, without any further courtesy, Sophie leaves, driven to her apartment by Gregory with a body in a trunk, right in the middle of Manhattan. Did you cross paths with situations like this in the past unknowingly? What other secrets did you pass on the streets without knowing their true nature? Your heaven is just as you left it hours ago. Although the sun won't come up for some time, you feel tired. You learned something about yourself today, and it'll take time to process. You're not in the mood for television, and the few books on the shelves in the apartment are either in languages you don't speak or sound like a boring read. Nothing left to do but rest. You settle in the back room, lock the door, a moment of hesitation, but then decision. This time you turn the light off. You think back to Julie. How many people in the city know about this vampiric society? How many are willing accomplices in sustaining it? And the thug you met in the park. If he's not Camarilla, then what is he? And are there independent vampires? How does that work? More questions. You begin wondering if there's ever going to be a night when you can start crossing them off the list instead of adding to it. You close your eyes. You sink into the now familiar void of nothingness. It greets you with open arms like an old friend. Rest. So guys, because my tea is gone, you open your eyes. It's pitch dark here, the blackness of coffin drifting in the abyss. Alright, the light. You grasp for the switch, flip it, the familiar cramped room with a steel door and no windows come into view. Yes. I think this is a good place to stop, because my voice will die pretty soon. And my tea is gone, and it's pretty late. We've been doing this for an hour and 40 minutes. We'll continue tomorrow, midnight, Polish time. That is, I know, I also had fun. This is quite exciting, actually. I enjoy quite a bit. Let's see who can we raid with our numbers. Let's see who is streaming at this hour. I think 9 Lives 90 is doing something. We can go say hello to him. So tomorrow the same thing. midnight, Ishki's here, and we are continuing reading through this, our bedtime story. I enjoyed this. I will also try to put this on YouTube if someone have missed it, or someone wants to listen to my voice when I'm offline or something. There's also VOD here on Twitch. Twitch is slow today. There were some problems apparently. Come on, internet, what are you doing? Praise That Moon is doing some Resident Evil 3, so maybe we can go say hello to her. There is Nate with some Call of Duty. There is Monkey with some front bow. Well, I'm going to watch the Resident Evil 3, so I'm going to raid Praise. There we go, join the Discord, follow me on Twitter, all that stuff. See you guys tomorrow, copy the bro track and say hello to Praise, she's wonderful. And Resident Evil 3 is a fun game to watch, so enjoy that. Thank you guys. Bye everyone.